Good evening. Welcome back to Apocalypse and Genesis. I still think they're closer than most conceive. Still believe it hinges on this point in time, crossing the paths and polarities of four stars, Sirius, the Sun, Nemesis, and Nibiru. There will be no facing them when they excite each other, and unless you're dying and depressed, the day comes too soon. The ancients thought it could take place this year, 12th year of the dragon or eagle or bull, 7th year of the lion or serpent, 5th year of the union. You can call one the god and one the goddess. You can place one in heaven and one in hell if you wish, or one here and one on the other side of the veil, or one the dutiful assistant to the other. Your worldview, your semantics don't change what they do. The visitors together offer a situation in which two great magnets overturn the world as we knew it, bringing flood and fire. One orbits near the sun, one approaches us while orbiting both its parent and the sun. One affects the poles, the other affects the ecliptic and the seasons. The lesson over thousands of years is that things must always change. Poles move, centers of gravity move. Humanity too must move and adapt when they do or perish. My suspicion is that we're all about to discover some huge answers that our religions did a very poor job describing by analogy. Soon there will be terrible consequences to our complacency with how geological events have been trending. I live in Southern California, soon to be reclaimed, split actually between the desert and the Pacific Ocean. Between the drought and the increasing fires and water restrictions, it won't be long until we replace trees and grass with cactus, succulents, and astroturf. And then up goes the electricity bill until come the brownouts and the blackout. And then we abandon California in a wave like the 250,000 Okies who left the Dust Bowl for the San Joaquin Valley back in the 1930s. I'm here due to the efforts of the California Department of Water Resources, who terraformed this little oasis from desert lands once sparsely populated by three tribes of Native Americans. My father began his career in state government as a surveyor. He had the distinction of discovering the USGS coast and geodetic bench lines sinking. Working on the California aqueduct, they were striving for a gradient accurate to within 5/100ths of a foot per mile. And on a 165-mile stretch near Coalinga, he noticed areas like Huron, where the tie-in to his line had sunk 5 feet in 10 years. And near Highway 33, it was off by an astonishing 19 feet due to subsidence. So the year I was born, a laborer making less than $200 a month told the state of California it was going to have to build its aqueduct closer to the stable mountains because the state's valleys were already crumbling into the aquifers. Today I was talking to a local Christian poet about the situation, Conrad Birmingham. He said the local Lake Matthews is down 15 feet from its normal level, thinks our fate will be political until the Creator tires of the current mess. Here is a stone the customs authorities stole, indefinitely detained, after shipping it across the country three times between Ohio and Florida to protect our borders. I have no idea what their concern was. The only way to make it a dangerous substance would be to hit somebody with it. What made it such a great piece, the reason I bought it for you, was the image's message. If I'm right on the meaning, we would see the eye sometime around May 25th. Guess that's not a convenient thing to be saying in public. War, drought, famine, and disease have set people wandering from time to time, traveling by night, suspicious of others. Trust is hard to know in apocalyptic times. And you and I live on the brink of another such age, a time when folks want what you have. And if you have nothing, well, then you could still be of use for recreation or maybe a stew pot. A precession ago, the beam from Sirius struck Aquila, going through someplace close to Gamma Aurigay, where Orion's club and the unicorn's horn both point. Given that the sun is about to again cross that section of sky, I'm thinking, we could earn another month or two in which to be concerned. After that, it could all go academic. I mean, what will be, will be. The Olmec stone seems to show that Ursa Minor and Aries are somehow related. So be alert as to what sign might tip the balance in the heavens. Another age of Mars, owner of the quarter precession according to John the Baptist, took us to between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Scorpio was a great way to signify two creators, flanked by two trees of life, all in a truly deadly time. As you know, it happened again in Leo. Note there is often a nod to Aries when they carve the stones. But I don't think it means the Aries sun is the Lamb of God. I believe it's referring to the first point of Aries as an alternate pivot in the heavens, a second axis, as it were, separate from the poles. I don't recall who minted the coin showing off the opposing bowls, but I like the ancient Vav where they are locking horns. Reminds me of that tale of Cetus where Jupiter and Mars are passing next week. Here are the next two sets of Saturn moons and Venus moons, in case you believed the Sasanian seal. When you look at when Orion crosses the sun, you will favor June dates. On the Greek plate, it looks like there is a new head of the Order of the Golden Fleece. I wonder what King Felipe of Spain will have to say. I believe he currently holds the honor. We've talked about these Orion crossings of the first of Aries and how they come near a Saturn moon or a Venus moon. When you see the Southern Cross in northern skies, go back and read the book of Thomas. In saying 22, Jesus is explaining a paradox that has something to do with this, our time. Jesus said to them, when you make the two one, when you make the inside like the outside and the outside like the inside and the above like the below, and when you make the male and female one and the same so that the male not be male nor the female female, when you fashion eyes in the place of an eye and a hand in the place of a hand, in other words, there's Aquarius turning around, and a foot in place of a foot and a likeness in place of a likeness, then you will enter the kingdom. My interpretation is that when reversal comes, so does our entrance to God's domain. It's the story of the Yahoo or the Eloha. You don't have God until you unite what is male with what is female in love, until the sky turns around, until the left hand and the right hand of God pass over the land. But I'm not a preacher and probably shouldn't discuss such things. Hollywood sent signals to the Illuminati once Sol left the House of Aries. Of course, those Kabbalists and their Masonic children would like to shout from the rooftops that the Lamb of God has gone out of business so they can introduce their new avatar. But before anyone takes a victory lap laughing at everyone else's religion, I would suggest we wait and see what happens when Mars steps over the line. I wonder if these models have any idea when they're doing the bidding of the masters in the propaganda wars. Note the little spiral of the Urias above the serpent and how the eagle in the west must change our ecliptic before life goes on. That little curlicue on the snake was for millennia a symbol of a bull elephant, the bull of heaven portrayed as a mastodon. It was considered his trunk before it was considered the horns of Aries, and Alexander the Great wore it on his headdress as a god of war. Anyone who was anyone knew something about the coming predicament. Unfortunately, the way for those in the know to pat themselves on the back for their cleverness is to never share this huge problem with the servants and the riffraff. So they build bunkers, and the rest of us party. I suspect many will be grabbed in the night, and the rest of us will have no idea whether it was for good or ill. Who were the notable dissidents? Who were the warriors? Who the engineers and doctors to be secreted away for the future? If I had to guess, I would say that children will be high on the list for shelters, but whether that be for the good of the children remains to be seen. They would certainly be the easiest to teach and indoctrinate for the New World Order. Sometime between Independence Day and whenever the shadow of the Washington Monument crosses the U.S. Capitol building, the founding fathers were very much interested in the timing of the blazing star. I'm not an initiated ring banger, so I can't tell you, but the sun will need to go down far enough for Sirius to show. You can't see the back, but Eagle is definitely associated with Aries as a central location for what's coming, just as on the Sangshan birds and the reversal of the equinoxes. In the time it takes for 3 planets to move and Orion to cross to the other side, our world turns around. Notice the little first of Aries niche in the center of the stone. Again, I would caution you against using the sun as your only marker. The ancients knew the roles of the planets and the moon as well. Strict monotheism comes short on clues as to how it all goes down. Whenever it comes, I expect one day soon, we drive past Earth's tipping point and the extra depth of the southern seas rushes north. I suspect that's what Revelation 13 is about, beast and dragon trade hemispheres. Has anyone seen Isaac Asimov's Foundation on Apple? In the beginning of episode 5, one of the heroines has a flood dream, as I did in the south of Greece, or as Eowyn dreamt of the great wave climbing over the lands in Return of the King. The interesting thing about the dream in Foundation is that it involves the close passage of a black hole, an event horizon having sufficient force to draw the oceans way up into the air. So we might as well ask, what does bring the stars of creation to Earth's neighborhood every few thousand years? And do you suppose NASA would ever tell us if they figured it out? I don't think so. They'd even try to shield us from seeing the Kachinas when they align. Shema bless you and keep you, now and forever. Take care.